Hey everyone, this is Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV-MC. Today I'm going to show you how to install the Tusk 4-point safety harness on your Polaris RZR. Here we have the Tusk 4-point safety harness. This harness is a big upgrade over the stock seat belts. They're fully adjustable for each passenger and they're going to give you maximum comfort as well as keep you secure in the seat. So if you're looking to increase both driver and passenger safety, then this is going to be a great option for you. Now, as far as installation goes, it's a straightforward process. These bottom tabs, they just mount up where the stock seat belts bolt up, and then the top just goes around the roll cage. They are sold per seat, and when you go to order these, make sure that you get one for the driver's seat because that's going to come with the override plug, and that allows the machine to operate as it normally would, as if you had the stock seat belt in there. Now, if you're doing any more aggressive driving or racing, you might want to look into the Tusk 5-point harness, but for the 4-point, install will be similar for just about any RZR out there, and we're going to show you how to do it on a 2019 Polaris RZR XP 1000. To do this job, we have a socket set, some Torx bits, combo wrenches, a screwdriver. We're also using some painter's tape and a razor blade and some safety glasses. Now, throughout the process, you want to refer to the instructions that come with your kit. Since we're working on a 4-seater, we'll start by removing all 4 seats. Next, we'll remove both sections of our center console. This procedure will be similar for all of the seats, except we'll be starting on the driver's seat, which will be a little bit different because we're installing the override plug. When you're removing the center console from the back, keep in mind we have a 12-volt accessory plug there. So be aware of where the wiring is and try not to damage anything. These wires, you don't need to remember which spots they go in because the connectors are different sizes. With our override plug in place, we're now ready to remove the stock seat belts. Keep in mind, when you remove the seat belts, you want to keep track of the old hardware because we will be reusing some of it. To gain access to the nut on the other side of this lower seat belt mount, we'll need to remove some of the plastic siding. To do that, we'll start with the upper piece and then we'll take the hardware out of the lower trim, and that way we can fit our wrench in there. Now we can remove the lower seat belt mounting bolt. Then we will remove the upper mounting bolt, followed by the middle mounting bolt, and completely remove the stock seat belt. Now we'll mount the left side of the lap belt with the stock bolt. When you tighten these lower bolts down, make sure the brackets are between a 40 to 80-degree angle to avoid damaging the belt. Next, we'll tighten down the right side of the lap belt, again with the original bolt. Keep in mind that this routes through the center console. To mount the top of the harness, we'll be wrapping the strap around the roll cage. Now, these straps do come with an extra bracket for mounting options, but we're not going to be using that bracket. Once you have that off, you can wrap the strap around the bar. You'll go up and then down through the slip lock, then loop it one last time through the back. We will be making adjustments later. Then we'll do the same thing for the other side. It will be a similar process to install the rest of the harness, except we don't have to remove any additional covers for the back seats, and we'll just use the stock seatbelt mounting locations for the lower mounts and the roll cage for the upper mounts. Also, we won't have to worry about an override plug for the rest of the seats. One thing I do want to point out though is that the rear seatbelt mount is different than the front, and since we can't reuse the bolt from the rear seatbelt, we'll take one of the ones we're not using on the front and use that to mount our harness. Now that we have the harness bolts tightened down, we can wrap our harness around the rear bar. Now, we have a Tusk rear window, and the cool thing about this, it already has cutouts so we can run our harness through it. But if you don't have a rear window, the procedure will be just the same. Always refer to the instructions that came with the kit to make sure you're routing this harness correctly. After we've mounted all of the harnesses, we can now install the center consoles, and we will start with the back and plug in our 12-volt accessory adapter. Now we'll flip the console over and thread our harness through it and bolt it to the original seat belt mount. Be sure to do the same thing on the other side. Now this is just my preference, but I'm going to wait to put the bolts in the rear center console until we have the front one mounted, and that way I can get all the adjustments on the belts right and then do all the hardware at once. To get a better fit for our center console, we'll need to cut the sides where our belt goes through, and to do that we'll mark our cutting area with masking tape and a Sharpie. Now, as the old saying goes, measure twice and cut once. So we've gone ahead and cleaned up our marks, and now we'll cut them out. With our notches cut out, we'll set it back down on the belts and see how it fits. Now that we have everything mounted like we want it, we'll go back through and put the hardware in the center console and then install the seats. All right, with our seats installed, now we'll adjust the harness, and it's important to remember you want to adjust this every time you get in the vehicle to ride it, because each passenger will be different. To start, we'll have Wes tighten the lap belt, and when you install this buckle, it's important to make sure that the Velcro strap is attached. Okay, now he's got those where he wants them. Now we can adjust the sternum strap. So that's about where he wants it. Then always remember, this would be really uncomfortable if it's rubbing on your neck. So our first adjustment up here, we'll adjust the height of this, and we'll do that by adjusting the length on the roll cage bar. And then we'll do our final adjustment on the tightening straps at the bottom. The last thing, when you're done with your ride and ready to get out, you can just pull up on these red tabs, and it'll make it easy and quick. That's it for the Tusk 4-point safety harness install. If you need this harness, it's available on our website. It has a ton of cool little features, little pockets that are just an added bonus. It's super comfy and pretty simple to install. So if you need something to keep you secure in your seat, again, this is a great option for you. And if you want to see more helpful content like this, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.